Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
And we are just having more fun than people should be allowed.
And a barrel of monkeys.
I did find it interesting in all of this, and of course, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And our discussion continues. The state attorney's findings and things. Deborah, I found it.
This is the Sunshine Law inquiry.
Right.
And records law against Team Santa Rosa.
When this report came out, I found it interesting that the Pensacola News Journal and the Press Gazette, their titles in their stories was "Commissioners and Team Cleared."
This is the report that said they did violate the law. They didn't think they did it intentionally, so they weren't going to move forward. However, they did want to state for the record that they do step in the shoes of government, perform a public function, and are subject to Sunshine Law.
Well, it's just interesting to me
that
two other members of the press, the Pensacola News Journal and the Press Gazette, put stories out there that says, well, the commissioners have been cleared and Team Santa Rosa has been cleared. Well, you know, at the end of the last show, and I want to take a little more time here. Now, look, they didn't go after them criminally, which I disagree with. I believe that the state attorney's office, with all my heart, should have turned this over to an 18-member grand jury and allowed the citizens of Santa Rosa County to have some say and to express an opinion about whether there's criminal action here or not. But to say that they've been cleared is kind of ridiculous, and I don't know what report that they were reading.
Well, actually, I have to stick up for Lewis Cooper. He didn't actually say that outright. He said just because they weren't moving forward doesn't mean they didn't violate Sunshine Law, if I remember correctly from the article he wrote.
To reiterate from last week's show, you know, we went over everything. The state attorney's office made two recommendations to Team Santa Rosa, and this was written in the report. Number one, Team Santa Rosa and its board of directors accept their responsibilities under the Sunshine Law and continue to operate in accordance with the law. And item number two, that Team Santa Rosa contract with an outside organization such as the First Amendment Foundation for training of both members and staff concerning Sunshine Law. And look.
And board members, I would assume, as well.
And it says board members. One of the things here is, and Deborah was with me at this meeting, the first three board meetings that were open to the public for Team.
Yes.
The public didn't speak at any of them. I wanted to give them an opportunity to carry on and to do the right thing. But it became very apparent to me that they were going to continue to try to avoid the Sunshine Law.
You didn't speak, a couple people spoke.
Well, right. But
you didn't address these issues.
Right. Yeah. Didn't address the Sunshine issue. And I felt it was going to be apparent, and I took the floor, and I was trying to explain to the board members when one board member interrupts and asks the chairman, you know, well, how much, you know, my time is very valuable to me, and I need to know, you know, how much time the citizens are going to be allowed to speak.
Yes.
You know, all of this.
That was enlightening.
All of this, well, it just goes to show you the attitude that over there is any board. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to shove you away from being a citizen volunteer on a board, because it can be very rewarding. But let me say this. You have an obligation under the law to follow what the Sunshine Law says. As long as you do that, your service will be greatly appreciated.
Well, what they have an obligation to do is understand that they work for the public and not the other way around. And what I saw in those first couple board meetings was the opposite. I mean, I saw flat out contempt for the people who were sitting there. And your dad actually got mad about it.
Well, yeah, and I think it's important to rehash that a business owner, you know, the commissioners had voted 5-0 to put a commissioner representative on the board of Team Santa Rosa.
Right. Well, he said he was concerned that stuff might leak. Yeah. All the important work they do might, for the universe, might leak out.
And you know, and I gotta laugh about it again, you know, because I'm usually the one that's accused of, you know, that I may need bail money after going to a meeting, but that was the meeting that my father stood up and said, I don't think you have the market cornered on integrity.
Right.
And there might be some citizens out there that have as much or more than you, and if you don't like what I'm telling you, I'll be outside waiting for you.
Right. Well, and this is when, again, they still just didn't want to admit the fact that they perform a public function. They basically are like working like a shadow government. And this is what the state attorney's report has finally forced them
Right.
into acknowledging. And that's really been the 6-year battle, is for them to acknowledge that they perform a government function.
Right, right, so we're gonna get a little more into more of the report here. So let me read another section,
Yes.
and we will digest it. While Team Santa Rosa did not believe that they were subject to the sunshine, let me stop right there. The fact that somebody does or does not believe that they have to follow the law should in no way, shape, or form stop them from being punished by the law.
Yes.
It just
It's
absolutely,
mind-boggling.
it absolutely blows me away. Let me read it again to you, ladies and gentlemen, because from what I see from this, all you need to do, if you find yourself in trouble down at the state attorney's office, all you need to say is, I didn't intentionally murder, rape, maim, kill, or speed. If you didn't intentionally do it, then, well, okay, you didn't intentionally do it, you get a pass. But let me read it to you again. While Team Santa Rosa did not believe that they were subject to the Sunshine Law, I don't care what their beliefs are. What I care about and what all citizens care about is what the law says.
Right.
Now, how many times you were taught it, I was taught it, everybody knows what I'm fixing to say. Ignorance to the law is no excuse.
Right.
I wasn't aware that the speed limit was 45 miles an hour
Right.
here.
Exactly.
I still got a ticket.
Right.
I wasn't aware that I couldn't make a left-hand turn here. I still got a ticket. Just that it really is mind-boggling that there seems to be a separation of the common citizen
Yes.
versus the elite elected and
Yes.
appointed of our
Who are
society.
not subject to the law.
It
apparently.
seems a special laws for them. They are allowed, as long as they have a plausible deniability and, oops,
Right.
I didn't mean to do that. Now, how do you determine in a meeting at the state attorney's office, well, you know, if I would have been accused, if I was one of those people that had been accused of something, and they call me in and they ask, did you mean to do that? Well, what do you expect them to say?
Right.
Well, no, I didn't intentionally do that. Now, I'll tell you what, when you call a grand jury and you put them up there under oath and you put a Bible under their left hand and ask them to raise their right hand, it'll be a whole nother story at that point. Or you put them in a courtroom in front of a jury of their peers where they are obligated to tell the truth or face 5 years in the penitentiary for perjury. I will guarantee you that in most cases you'll get a somewhat different story. Just calling somebody in and saying, did you mean to do that? That's just not enough for me. They have now accepted that they did come under the public records law. Well, they didn't mean to, but now they've said
Yes.
they do. How does that absolve one of past sins? I've just realized that murder is wrong. So the 27 people that I killed prior to this, don't charge me with that.